Boys, everybody be quiet. Turn the games off. Sabbath peace.
Sabbath peace.
It's another opportunity for us to come together, hear and learn of the word of truth that is given to us by the Most High God. All honor goes to the Father through the Son, whose name is Yahushua. In him lies the only hope for salvation. We know that it is obtained by grace through faith, not of works, lest anyone should boast and give him freely as a gift to all who obey him. We understand that if you do not obey him, it is made manifest or made obvious that you do not believe. In this state, you should expect no good thing from the Most High. However, anything that you do get, whether it be a gift of tongues, a gift of prophecy, or any supernatural experiences you may have, it can and it will be used against you in the day of judgment. With that said, peace to the saints that are in the room, to the saints that couldn't make it, to the saints watching on the camera, but no peace to the wicked. The only thing we say to them is repent, that they might live. Right?
Yes, sir.
All right, where we starting today?
Genesis 45.
You want to get right to it? Let's do it. Genesis chapter 45. Let's just get right to it then. Go ahead and start me off at verse 1 so we can get a little recap. Who remember what we were talking about last week?
And Joseph met his brothers and started giving them a hard time.
Mm-hmm. He had messing with him, wasn't he? Yeah. All right, so Joseph, he finally decided to reveal himself to his brother, but not before he started messing with him a little bit. He sent them back and forth and, you know what I'm saying, put them in a situation they'd be scared. And after that, that put them in a position to tell him about their dad. Because they was like, oh, we did. No, we can't go back. You know what I'm saying? You trying to keep Benjamin? We can't go back without Benjamin. Right? Because that's how he was messing with him. He was like, he made him bring Benjamin. Then he made it look like Benjamin stole something from him. You know what I'm saying? A silver cup. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, all right, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? In that case, Benjamin gonna have to be my servant. All right? So I'm gonna keep him. He's like, oh, y'all free though. They're like, no. You don't understand. We can't go back. You know what I'm saying? That's the attitude that they had. But they're telling them, they're like, no, all of us are your servant. We'll all serve you. Because it's like anything but going back and having to face pops. Every one of us will stay here and we'll serve you. But we not going back. So he's like, no, y'all get y'all butts up out of here. Then they start breaking down. They're like, man, you don't understand. You know what I'm saying? Look, our father, this, that, and the other. We going to bring him down to the grave. So when they start talking about pops, it made Joseph emotional. Right? So Joseph started to break down, start crying. He was like, you know what I'm saying, trying to hide it, you know what I'm saying, all that. So he broke down, started crying, and he ended up revealing himself to him. He was like, nah, man, I'm Joseph, man. I'm your little brother. You know what I'm saying? Because before that, he had talked through an interpreter. They probably thought he was an Egyptian. He's like, no, I'm a Hebrew, you know what I'm saying? No, I'm y'all brother, man. You know, I'm the one that y'all, you know what I mean? And so at this point, we about to read it at verse 1, but he's revealing himself to him. And then we're going to read through kind of how he sets us up for his family and kind of put us in a position to usher in the Exodus and usher in Moses. This is Genesis chapter 45. Let's start at verse 1.
Then Joseph could not refrain himself before all them that stood by him. And he cried, cause every man to go out from me. And there stood no man with him, while Joseph made himself known unto his brothers.
All right, so he started crying. He said, everybody get out, except for his brothers, right? So he made himself known to his brothers. What else?
And he wept aloud, and the Egyptians in the house of Pharaoh heard. And Joseph said unto his brethren, I am Joseph. Does my father yet live?
Right, so he asked him, he was like, man, I'm Joseph. Where daddy at? Let's see.
And his brethren could not answer him. For they were troubled at his presence.
Right, so the brothers, they still trying to put this whole situation together. They just been toyed around with this man for, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, wait a minute. You're Joseph, like the annoying little brother Joseph. No way, right? They still trying to figure out, like, what exactly is happening right now.
And his brethren could not answer him, for they were troubled at his presence. And Joseph said unto his brethren, come near to me, I pray you. And they came near, and he said, I am Joseph your brother, whom you sold into Egypt.
That's right.
Now therefore be not grieved, nor angry with yourselves that you sold me here. For God did send me before you to preserve life.
Right, so he's saying, listen, don't even be upset with yourself. He flossing on them at this point, right? Don't even be upset with yourself. Most of God sent me here for a reason. Right, watch what he say next.
For these 2 years has the famine been in the land, and yet there are 5 years in which there shall neither be earing nor harvest. And God sent me before you to preserve you a posterity in the earth, and to save your lives by a great deliverance.
Right? He's saying the Most High God sent me here because if not for me, right? If not for the Most High God, but if the Most High God didn't put me in this position and give me the information that he did, then I wouldn't be here to help y'all have the food, right? The Most High God gave me a vision to allow for Egypt to retain food in the plenteous years. There were 7 plenteous years and then 7 years of famine. So now he's like, there's been 2 years of this famine. Y'all think it's bad now. It's about to be a whole lot more. But we had the resources because we stored up. This is why the Most High God sent me here. So he kind of putting that together for them real quick. Keep going, watch this.
So now it was not you that sent me here, but God. And he made me a father to Pharaoh.
So he's saying, listen, don't blame yourself for this stuff. It wasn't you. This thing worked out the way God wanted it to. You know what I'm saying? And he made me a father. In other words, he made me a ruler alongside Pharaoh. He's just trying to tell him, like, I know y'all feel guilty for this situation, but look, it all worked out the way God wanted it to. Watch this. Keep going. That's a perspective. Sometimes we got to have that perspective before it happened. You know what I mean? Like, that's a perspective that we got to have because it helps you be calm. You react emotionally to all this stuff. People wrong you. Stuff going to happen. Stuff going to happen. Look, this man, brothers, they're about to kill the boy. Right? Now, after the situation plays out and he ends up being on top, it's easy to be like, it's cool. Right? But sometimes we got to have that mindset before. It's like, okay, you wrong me. Not a big deal. Because I know I obey God. I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. If you ain't doing what you're supposed to do, you handle it however you want to handle it. I ain't talking to you. I'm talking about when you doing what you're supposed to do, right? And you living the way you're supposed to live, you know for a fact, you can have all assurity from the Most High God that anything that's happening to you is happening for your good. How we know that? Am I just making that up? Does that sound good?
I think Paul said that.
Where he say that?
Was it Paul? Is it Corinthians? Is it Corinthians?
Give me Romans 8. Help me find it. I don't know exactly where it's at. It's Romans 8. Probably got to be Romans 8. I want to say it's towards the end. What's the last verse in Romans? If the last verse is like 50-something, it's going to be like 40. It's probably going to be like 38. I feel like Romans chapter 8 probably go up to like 39. 39, that's it? Oh, yeah, I don't know where it's at then. Give me 28. Let's see what 28 say. This is Romans chapter 8, verse 28.
And we know that all things work together for good.
Oh, here you go. Boy, moving in here today. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all feel that spirit? Y'all lucky I ain't got nobody play no organ for me. Man, I'd have lit y'all butts up just now. Give me like 26.
Likewise, the Spirit also helps our infirmities, for we know not what we should pray for as we ought, but the Spirit itself makes intercession for us with groanings which cannot be uttered. And he that searches the heart knows what is the mind of the Spirit.
That's right.
Because he makes intercession for the saints according to the will of God. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, and to them who are the called according to his purpose. For whom he did foreknow, he also did predestinate to be conformed to the.
Hold on, go back for me. Go back to verse 27.
And he that searches the heart.
This is important, only because last week after study we talked a little bit about we didn't touch on it too much, but we talked a little bit about the soul and the spirit. And it's not something that we discuss much, and I don't think we've discussed soul and spirit and the difference in our studies too much. So I think it's an important point to kind of. I'm gonna start pointing it out because whenever I have conversations with people and we run across a topic that's like, oh, you know what? Even the people that I teach probably wouldn't know that. I always want to start incorporating that because it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like who gonna teach it? If I'm tasked to be a teacher, right? And I'm taking this responsibility to be a teacher, then I gotta teach. You know what I'm saying? I gotta teach all the subjects and touch on them at least. You know what I'm saying? Make sure it's a record out there so somebody can get to it. So we think about the soul and the spirit, and I've always thought about them interchangeably, right? You got the soul, you got the spirit, and it's like, oh, it's just a synonyms, right? Same thing, you talking about the same thing. but it's good to point out the differences, right? So when you think about the Spirit, what do you think that is? If we having a Christian Bible study now where y'all can like talk, Christian Bible study, you just ask questions. Everybody kind of raise your hand. Well, to me, grace it's kind of like, it's kind of like a warm feeling that you get from the Lord. And let me tell you, one time, grace landed on my back. They say you get to tell these wild stories or whatever. Then the next person be like, well, grace it's very difficult to describe, but have you ever seen ice skating? You know what I mean? Everybody share their own opinion, but it ain't got nothing to do with the word. So that's what we're about to do right now. We're about to do, a little Christian Bible study. So, like, what do we think a spirit is? Like, when the book say spirit, we know spirit of God. I ain't talking about spirit of God. When the book is talking about spirit, it is not talking about spirit of God. What do we think that is? Like, what do you think that represents?
Life.
Life?
Yeah, it's life. You know what I'm saying? Spirit goes back to the Most High God after he died. The breath that he breathed in the Adam made him a living soul. You know what I'm saying? That's what that is.
Everybody agree with that? Yeah. That is spirit, right? But spirit is multiple things, right? Spirit is multiple things. So like you have the spirit that animates us, that causes us to have life, right? But then you also have spirits, right? So there's evil spirits and then there's just spirits. And then we all also have our own spirit, right? So think about alcohol, right? If you go to a store, an alcohol store, whatever you call them, right? It's usually got spirits in the name. You know what I'm saying? Gonna be Lee's Liquor and Spirits.
Wine and spirits.
Wine and spirits. So they call alcohol spirits for a reason, because alcohol, long time ago, was seen as something spiritual. So you drink alcohol, and then what happens? A lot of times people become animated, right? They become hyper, and it feels like they're acting differently, right? And so that's what spirits are. Spirits are like can be a motivating force, right? So emotions, those are spirits, right? It's the invisible, the invisible stuff that causes us to make moves, right? Causes us to behave differently, right? Those are spirits. And when the Bible talks about spirits, that's what it's talking about. So right here, notice how it talks about this spirit. It's a spirit. It's a spirit of an individual. So it's not a spirit that just is interacting with you or influencing you or doing something. No. This is the individual spirit. So it's my spirit that Paul is talking about right here. Watch this.
Likewise, the Spirit also helps our infirmities, for we know not what we should pray for as we ought.
So the Spirit of the Most High God helps our infirmities, our weaknesses, right? Because we don't know what we should pray for sometimes. But watch this.
But the Spirit itself makes intercession for us with groanings which cannot be uttered.
Uh-huh.
And he that searches the hearts knows what is in the mind of the Spirit.
Okay, so now we have another spirit. So first, the Spirit of God is intercession for, it's getting in the middle and saying, listen, you don't know what you're praying for. You don't even know what you're supposed to be praying for. I'm about to pray for you, right? And that turns into groanings from us. And then he gives a justification for it. He's saying because the Spirit of God knows the mind of what?
The Spirit.
So what is the Spirit he's talking about?
You.
He's talking about my spirit. So now we talk about soul. When we say soul, what is soul?
Your consciousness.
It's your consciousness, you. Right? What burns it forever in the lake of fire?
Your soul.
Your soul. That's you that got to burn forever. You'll never see the book say your spirit is going to burn forever. Right? Your consciousness, you, your thoughts, your feelings, your leanings, that is what makes you you. That is your soul. Right? So now he's saying only the Spirit of God knows the mind of the Spirit. That means you don't know your spirit. You know what that means? It's not your soul. Right? We're held accountable for our soul. Our spirit, we can't know it. You remember the heart? The heart is desperately wicked. Spirit. That's what that's talking about. It's spiritual things that's influence you. That's the same thing. When it says that, it's the same thing that Paul's talking about. We wrestle not with flesh and blood. Right? It's spiritual things, the invisible things that we don't really know. right? These things are just happening to us, and we don't even know what's happening to us. We just have to kind of look at our behavior and try to judge from that, right? Keep going. We didn't mean to get into that, but it's just good to point out.
And searches the heart, and he that searches the heart knows what is the mind of the Spirit. Because he makes intercession for the saints according to the will of God.
Somebody, hey, Daniel, do me a favor. Tag Cotton. I told Cotton I was going to tag him. Do that for me. Tag Cotton for me.
And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God.
So everything works together for good for those that do what?
Love God.
And if you love me,
You keep my commandments.
that got that. So when you obey God, you can be confident that everything is going to work out in your favor. Eventually, in the end, it's all going to work out in your favor. So that means you ain't got to stump. Somebody do something wrong to you, ain't got to sit here and, you know what I mean? Holy God, grab Matthew chapter 5. I mean, we got to finish Genesis because we finishing it today. But it's important that we kind of understand what we're dealing with here. It's Matthew chapter 5. Give me verse 21. It's Matthew chapter 5, verse 22.
But I say to you that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in the danger of the judgment.
Right? He said, if you even get angry as your brother, you're going to be in danger of judgment. Watch this. Without a cause, he said.
And whosoever shall say to his brother, Raka, shall be in danger of the council.
You call your brother stupid, right? You're going to be in danger of counsel, right? Judgment.
But whosoever shall say, you fool, shall be in danger of hellfire.
Uh-huh.
Therefore, if you bring your gift to the altar and there remembers that thy brother has aught against you, leave there thy gift before the altar and go thy way. First be reconciled to thy brother, and then come and offer thy gift. Agree with your adversary quickly while you are in the way with him. Lest at any time the adversary deliver you to the judge, and the judge deliver you to the officer, and you be cast into prison. Verily I say unto you, you shall by no means come out thence till thou hast paid the uttermost farthing.
Right? He talking about a situation where you owe your brother, right? I owe my brother, or I've wronged my brother, and therefore I owe him. I have to pay restitution, right? I stole something, or I cheated, or I lied, or whatever it might be, and there's legal restitution for this, right? He's saying it don't make no sense for you to drag this thing out and get it to court. You know you did wrong. If you go to court, you're gonna have to pay it all anyway. Resolve that thing with your brother. Don't let emotions get in the way of it. Resolve that thing. Get back to him like, yo, you know what I mean? Look, I know I owe you this. Let me just get it to you now. Let's just call it good. We good? Okay, we good. Boom, and then keep it moving. But watch this. That's not what we're trying to get, right? Watch this.
You have heard that it was said by them of old time, ye shall not commit adultery.
He said, look, you have heard of them that it had been said of old time.
But I say unto you that whosoever looks on a woman to lust after her has committed adultery with her already in his heart. And if thy right eye offend thee, pluck it out and cast it from thee. For it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not that the whole body should be cast into hell.
Okay, keep going. Watch this.
And if thy right hand offend thee,
your right hand,
cut it off and cast it from thee. For it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not that thy whole body should be cast into hell.
So the mindset here is do whatever you have to do to make it into the kingdom. Right? Do whatever you have to do to make it into the kingdom. All right, keep going. Watch this. I thought what we started looking for was at the beginning of this thing.
It has been said, whosoever shall put away his wife, let him give her a writing of divorcement. But I say unto you that whosoever shall put away his wife, except for the cause of fornication, causes her to commit adultery. Whosoever shall marry her that is divorced commits adultery. Again, ye have heard that it has been said by them of old time, you shall not forswear thyself, but shall perform unto the Lord your oaths.
Jump down. What verse is that?
33.
33. Give me verse 40.
And if any man will sue thee at the law and take away thy coat, let him have thy cloak off.
This is what I want, right? So if anybody will sue you at the law and take away your coat, let him do what?
Give him thy cloak also.
And keep going.
And whosoever shall compel thee to go a mile, go with him too.
Right? So he's giving you situations where you would normally want to take some vengeance. Right? You won a lawsuit against me and you took my what?
My coat.
Normally, I'm going to get you back. Right? But he's telling them, nah, give him what?
Your cloak also.
Here, take this also. That's the mindset that he's asking us to have. And the reason why he's asking us to have that mindset is because that's the mindset that keeps you out of trouble. The only way you can have this mindset, right, is to be perfect. Give me the last verse. Thank you, baby girl. Go get that to your mama.
Perfect, even as your Father which in heaven is perfect.
He said, be therefore perfect, just like your Father is in heaven is perfect. The only way you can do that is to be perfect. The only way to be perfect is to have the confidence that can't nothing happen to me out here. If I'm doing what the Most High God tell me to do. Keeping his commandments, therefore I love him. And he already told me that. Paul already told me that everything work out for the good of those who love him, right? So with that, I stand in confidence. I say, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do out here. It ain't nothing that anybody can say or do to me that ain't gonna work out for my good. So then when somebody does something wrong to you, they sue you and take your coat. It's easy to be like, here, take this too. Because it doesn't matter. I know you don't know. Like, you don't know what's about to happen to you. You don't know the curse that you bringing on to you. You think you doing something to me. Poor little tink tink. Right? I'm trying to help you out. When Yahushua, he got strung up on the cross, what he kept on saying?
Forgive them, for they know not what they do.
He looking at them like, y'all don't know what y'all doing. Y'all think y'all don't know what y'all. And that, we people like us, or not like us, but people do that, right? Regular people, we say that type of stuff because we read it. So, oh, well, no, Lord bless them. They don't know it. They messing with the Lord. You know, the Lord's anointed. They don't know they messing with the Lord's anointed. So we say that type of stuff as a form of false humility. No, Yahushua mean it. And he's saying it and like he mean it and know it. Like he know how this thing's supposed to play out. That's the mindset we got to have. That's the mindset that Joseph has right now, but he only has it because he's been through it, right? Remember, he don't have the whole counsel of the Most High God, so he's learning it as he goes. We have that information in front of us, so we got to try to apply it on the front end. If we do, we'll be better for it. Watch this. Keep going. This is Genesis chapter 45. What verse?
Verse 8.
It's Genesis chapter 45, verse 8. I need some sleep.
So now
like
it was not you that sent me here, but God, and he has made me a father to Pharaoh and lord of all his house, and a ruler throughout all the land of Egypt. Haste you and go up to my father and say unto him, thus says your son Joseph, God has made me lord of all Egypt. Come down unto me, tarry not, and you shall dwell in the land of Goshen.
That boy said, don't wait. Right? He said, go ahead, go tell Pop. Most High God made me, you know what I mean, ruler in Egypt. Go ahead, come on down to me. Don't wait either. He said, tarry not, don't wait either. Don't be wasting no darn time. Bring your butt. That's what he tell him. Bring your own butt. Let's go. Watch this.
You shall be near unto me, you and your children and your children's children, and their flocks, their herds, and all that you have. Mm-hmm. And there will I nourish thee, for yet there are 5 years of famine, lest thou and thy household and all that you have come to poverty.
Right? So he's trying to give him enough information where Pops can't just say, nah, I don't think I need to come on down. He's trying to listen, 5 more years of famine. You can bring everybody with you. Like, all his excuses, he's trying to get that out the way. Tell him he can bring, because he probably already know Pops. You know what I'm saying? Pop probably like, nah, I ain't going down no darn Egypt. We passed through there. We don't stay. We coming back to Canaan. This the land that the Most High God promised. You're going to see at the end when Pops died, when Jacob died, you're going to see that he said, listen, make sure you bury me where?
In the land of God.
You bury me right where my Pops was buried and where his daddy was buried. Because he knows that that's where the promise is, Canaan, right? So he had to give him all this information up front. Like, no, bring everybody. Look, it's because it's 5 years of famine that's still going. You think it's bad now. It's about to get worse. I'm going to nourish you. Everything going to be all right. Come on down. Don't wait either. Right? Watch this. Keep going.
And behold, your eyes see in the eyes of my brother Benjamin that it is my mouth that speaks unto you. Mm-hmm. And you shall tell my father of all my glory in Egypt and of all that you have seen. And you shall haste and bring down my father here. Mm-hmm. And he fell upon his brother Benjamin's neck and wept, and Benjamin wept upon his neck. That's it.
So Benjamin being his brother from the same mom, right? Okay, keep going.
Moreover, he kissed all his brothers and wept upon them, and after that his brethren talked with him. And the fame thereof was heard in Pharaoh's house, saying, Joseph's brothers are come. And it pleased Pharaoh well and his servants. Mm-hmm. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, say unto your brethren, this do ye.
Right. So now Pharaoh heard about it. So now Pharaoh happy about it because you know Joseph is his man. Pharaoh looking like, man, Joseph is a genius. You know what I'm saying? That boy making Pharaoh rich. You know what I'm saying? So he, well, not quite, not yet. Kinda, but not yet. You know what I'm saying? They ain't got super rich yet. But they starting to get rich. And Pharaoh looking like, you know what I'm saying? I'll rock with Joseph. So he looking like, oh, Joseph brothers here? Oh, well, send them this message. Watch what Pharaoh say.
And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, say unto your brethren, this do ye. Lade your beasts and go. Get you into the land of Canaan. And take your father and your households and come unto me.
Right? So he said, tell your brothers, go ahead, get your animals together. Y'all ride out there and hurry up. And you go out to the land of Canaan. And you do what now?
You come unto me. And I will give you the good of the land of Egypt. And you shall eat the fat of the land.
Right? So it's important now. He's hearing it from Pharaoh, trying to take as much information back to Pops as possible. But watch what else Pharaoh said.
Now you are commanded, this do ye. Take your wagons out of the land of Egypt for your little ones and for your wives, and bring your father and come. Also, regard not your stuff.
He said what?
Regard not your stuff.
Don't worry about, you know how we get. Oh, no, I got to take, you know what I'm saying? I got to make sure my vase is over there, and I got to get. He said, regard not just, don't worry about that stuff. Why?
For the good of all the land of Egypt is yours.
We got plenty in Egypt. You can have it all. This is coming from Pharaoh now. That's all right. When it comes back to you, you say it.
And the children of Israel did so, and Joseph gave them wagons according to the commandment of Pharaoh, and gave them provision for the way. To all of them he gave each man changes of raiment, but to Benjamin he gave 300 pieces of silver and five changes of raiment.
You know what I'm talking about? To Benjamin, he was like, here go 5 outfits. You know what I'm saying? And $300. You know what I'm talking about? Keep going, watch this.
And to his father he sent after this manner: 10 donkeys laden with the good things of Egypt, 10 she-donkeys laden with corn and bread and meat for his father by the way. So he sent his brethren away, and they departed. And he said unto them, see that you fall not out by the way. And they went up out of Egypt and came into the land of Canaan unto Jacob their father, and told him, saying, Joseph is yet alive, and is governor of all the land of Egypt. And Jacob's heart fainted, for he believed them not.
Jacob was like, what? Like, imagine that all these years. How many years it would have been? Like
2.
30 years?
2.
Who?
2.
Nah, I'm talking about how many years since he thought his son was dead. Probably would have been like 30 years.
Nah, yeah, I don't know about 30. But he was 17 when he went in there, right? How old is he now? 30?
Last time we heard from him, he was 30, but that was, who knows how much time went by.
Okay, probably about 15, 20 then.
So let's say it was 15 years, you know what I'm saying? 15 years you thought your son was dead. 15 years. You thought the man was gone and dead. All of a sudden, you thought you lost one son. You sent another son, and you almost positive you about to lose him, and that's your baby son. That's your boy. He the only one you got left in your mind, right? So you positive that you about to lose him too. And then they come back and say the first son you lost is alive. He trying to process it. Watch this.
And they told him all the words of Joseph, which he had said unto them. And when he saw the wagons which Joseph had sent to carry him, the spirit of Jacob their father revived. And Israel said, it is enough. Joseph, my son, is yet alive. I will go and see him before I die.
Right? He said, that's enough. Book say his spirit revived. Right? So I mean, he got reanimated. First, then he got reanimated, right? He got excited. His spirit revived. Okay, keep going.
And Israel took his journey with all that he had, and came to Beersheba, and offered sacrifices unto the God of his father Isaac.
He went to where?
Beersheba.
Beersheba. So you remember, who else went to Beersheba? Well, he went to Beersheba a lot. Abraham went to Beersheba a lot, right? So this is the part of the land that had ties. Okay, let's hear about it.
And God spake unto Israel in the visions of the night, and said, Jacob.
So
Jacob.
before he went to Egypt, he went to Beersheba. Most High God spoke to him and said, Jacob, Jacob.
And he said, here am I. And he said, I am God, the God of thy father. Fear not to go down into Egypt, for I will there make of thee a great nation. I will go down with thee into Egypt, and I will also surely bring thee up again. And Joseph shall put his hand upon your eyes.
Right? Why did the Most High God have to say that?
Because Jacob already know the promise is in Canaan.
The promise is in Canaan. It don't make no sense for me to go live in Egypt.
Okay.
It doesn't make sense for me to live in Egypt.
Thank you.
Look, I get it. Famine, all that. I get what you're saying, son. But I'm just visiting. Had the Most High God not said that, it's very likely that Jacob would have went there and be like, all right, well, good seeing you. When you coming home? Because I'm about to go. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I'm about to go. I know where the promise at. Because these are faithful men of the Most High God. Right? He look like, I got to take my butt back to Canada. You never know. Promise might be any time now. We don't know when this thing coming. Right? Let's see. Keep going.
And Jacob rose up from Beersheba, and the sons of Israel carried Jacob their father and their little ones and their wives and the wagons which Pharaoh had sent to carry him.
Mm-hmm.
And they took their cattle and their goods which they had gotten in the land of Canaan and came into Egypt, Jacob and all his seed with him.
Mm-hmm.
His sons and his sons' sons with him. His daughters and his sons' daughters and all his seed brought he with him into the land of Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the names of the children of Israel which came into Egypt.
Jump
Jacob,
on down. Give me, we don't have to read all the names. We're going to come back to this, though. When we get into Exodus, we're going to have to come back because it's some things we got to make sense of.
These be the sons of Leah, and she bare unto Jacob. Let's see.
I think it should talk to you about Jacob getting there or something like that. I don't know what verse. Maybe verse, what's the last verse?
And he sent Judah before him unto Joseph to direct his face unto Goshen, and they came into the land of Goshen.
Mm-hmm.
And Joseph made ready his chariot and went up to meet Israel, his father, to Goshen, and presented himself unto him. And he fell on his neck and wept on his neck a good while.
All right, so this is the first time he saw his daddy in years, right? See that, watch this.
And Israel said unto Joseph, now let me die, since I have seen your face, because you are yet alive.
Mm-hmm.
And Joseph said unto his brethren and unto his father's house, I will go up and show Pharaoh, and say unto him, my brother and my father's house, and my father's house, which were in the land of Canaan, are come unto me.
Mm-hmm.
And the men are shepherds, for their trade has been to feed cattle. And they have brought their flocks and their herds and all that they have. And it shall come to pass, when Pharaoh shall call you, you shall say, what is your occupation?
Mm-hmm.
And shall say, what is your occupation? That you shall say, your servant's trade has been about cattle from our youth even until now. Both we and also our fathers, that you may dwell in the land of Goshen. For every shepherd is an abomination unto the Egyptians.
Right? So he coaching them. He telling them, look, these Egyptians don't mess with shepherds. And we all shepherds people. Right? That's what we do. You know what I'm saying? Like, we deal with the livestock. You know what I'm talking about? So he's like, as soon as he asks you, just let that come out of your mouth first. Because if you say that, he going to keep you away from them and give you your own little area because it's an abomination for them. Right? He going to send you to Goshen. Huh?
So I wonder why.
Because they worship the animals. You know what I'm saying? So they worship the animals, and the shepherds, you know what I'm saying, they kind of deal with the animals. Sometimes got to kill the animals, you know what I'm saying, take care of them and all that. So that thing, you know what I'm saying, that thing for them, like having to deal with the animals that way, you know what I'm saying, I think was an abomination. You know what I'm saying? I think it's wrong. But at the same time, we got to eat. We got to do all these things. So it's like, you know what I'm saying, I can't be the one to do it. You know what I'm saying? But, you know what I'm saying, that thing's an abomination in their eyes. That's what I read, at least. Keep going. Watch this.
Then Joseph came and told Pharaoh and said, my father and my brother and their flocks and their herds and all they have are come out of the land of Canaan, and behold, they are in the land of Goshen.
Mm-hmm. That's the end of the chapter?
No, this is the start of 47.
Okay, it's 47. Let's see.
And he took some of his brethren and even 5 men and presented them unto Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto his brethren, what is your occupation? And they said unto Pharaoh, thy servants are shepherds, both we and also our fathers. They said, moreover unto Pharaoh, for the sojourn in the land we are come, and your servants have no pasture for their flocks, for the famine is sore in the land of Canaan. Now therefore, we pray thee, let thy servants dwell in the land of Goshen. And Pharaoh spake unto Joseph, saying, thy father and thy brethren are come unto thee, and the land of Egypt is before thee. In the best of the land make thy father and brethren do to dwell. In the land of Goshen let them dwell. And if thou knowest any man of activity amongst them, that make them rulers over my cattle. And Joseph brought in Jacob his father, and set him before Pharaoh, and Jacob blessed Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto Jacob, how old are you? And Jacob said to Pharaoh, the days of the years of my pilgrimage are...
He said, listen, The days of the years of my pilgrimage are what?
130 years.
Mm-hmm.
Few and evil have the days of the years of my life been.
Right? He said, my days been few and evil. In other words, it ain't been a long time, and Eve day ain't been rough. Is he lying?
Mm.
Remember, he had to serve Laban for 20 of them years. Lived in fear of it. He lived around Canaanites. His sons, we gonna read about it today, his sons killed a bunch of the Canaanites, so he had to live in fear. You know them books we were talking about, the Apocrypha? One of the books, I can't remember which one. You know what I'm saying? I gotta go back and start reading them things again just so I know what I'm dealing with. But one of the books said that it gave context around this. You know what I'm saying? So it gave context that after Simeon and Levi killed all them folks, that the Canaanites around the area was looking at them kind of funny. And so he mentions it, we're gonna read it, but he mentions it later. He gonna, you know what I'm saying? He can be like, look, you know what I'm saying? They had me in a tough position. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what happened. So it's like his whole life, he was dealing with stuff. For most of his life, he was dealing with stuff. So in his mind, he looking like, man, look, I ain't had enough good times. He's like, man, few and evil have these days been, right? I lived 130 years. Then watch what he said about his fathers.
Few and evil have the days of the years of my life been, and have not attained unto the days of the years of the life of my fathers and the days of their parents.
He like, and they lived longer than me. He know he about to die. He looking like, man, my father lived longer than me. I ain't even caught up to them yet. Let's see, keep going.
And Jacob blessed Pharaoh and went out from before Pharaoh.
He did what to Pharaoh?
Blessed Pharaoh.
That's for the Hebrew Israelites. These Hebrew Israelites, man, you can't, you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, deal with, you know what I'm saying, I ain't never, you know. They always against leadership. Everybody in the book, they always have a cordial relationship as long as the ruler of these countries ain't bothering them. They always got a cordial relationship of respect and honor. Every time we look at it, that's how our fathers was. If we was in somebody's country, we had a relationship of respect and honor outside the situation where we were just being punished. You know what I'm saying? Through them people. And sometimes even when we're being punished. But they don't understand that part. So he blessed Pharaoh. Watch this.
And Joseph placed his father and his brethren and gave them a possession in the land of Egypt, and the best of the land in the land of Ramses, and Pharaoh had, as Pharaoh had commanded. And Joseph nourished his father and his brothers and all his father's household with bread, according to their families. And there was no bread in all the land, for the famine was very sore, so that the land of Egypt and all the land of Canaan fainted by reason of the famine. And Joseph gathered up all the money that was found in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan for the corn which they bought. And Joseph brought the money into Pharaoh's house.
Right? So now he has the storehouse. He has all the food. Everybody got to come to Egypt to get the food. So he starts selling the food to everybody. That's been happening already. But what happens when they run out of money? Let's see.
And when money failed in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, all the Egyptians came unto Joseph and said, give us bread, for why should we die in thy presence? For the money fails. And Joseph said, give your cattle, and I will give you for your cattle if money fail. So
now he start trading their animals. He was like, oh, y'all ain't got no money? Well, I tell you what. Go ahead and give me your cow. And then your sheep too. And I'll give you some bread. Right? So it turns into not just Pharaoh getting money. Now Pharaoh increases his livestock. What's the difference between just getting cash and the livestock?
Livestock, you know what I'm saying? You got a whole bunch of stuff in livestock. You got meat, food, you got like fur, clothes.
And it reproduces.
Yeah.
Right?
Like
so I made them, they get more. So not only can I sell this animal and then keep making more from his mama and dad, but I can kill this animal, keep making more. Right? Whatever I want to do with this one, I can keep making more because I got a whole bunch of them that can mate. Right? So he getting cash, and I don't have to spend cash to buy more livestock, to make more livestock. I already got the cash, and on top of that, I'm just getting livestock.
You don't got to spend your cash no more.
Watch this. Keep going.
And Joseph said, give your cattle, and I will give you for your cattle if money fail. And they brought their cattle unto Joseph, and Joseph gave them bread in exchange for horses, and for the flocks, and for the cattle of the herds, and for the donkeys, and he fed them with bread for all their cattle for that year. When that year was ended, they came unto him in the second year and said unto him, we will not hide it from my lord, how that our money is spent. My lord also has our herds of cattle.
Right.
There is not
We
aught
have
left
no
in the sight
more
of my
money.
Lord.
And we have no more cattle. We out. We ain't got nothing else. But we need food. Let's see what happens.
But our bodies and our lands.
He said we have our bodies and we have our land. How do you think this is about to play out?
Give it up.
Let's see.
Wherefore shall we die before thine eyes, both we and our land? Buy us and our land for bread, and we and our land will be servants unto Pharaoh, and give us seed that we may live and not die, that the land be not desolate.
So now the people have a debt to Pharaoh, right? They're saying we will work for the bread because we don't have money to pay for it. So we will work. You're buying us, and I will sell you the land. Just feed me for the year. Right? So now it becomes a relationship where as long as you working, you get food. And I own the land. So what do you think you working on?
The land.
You working on your own land that I now own. Whatever you produce, it comes to me. So if we fast forward into Exodus, Egypt is dealing with us as what?
Slave.
How do you think that started? Started right here. Because it turned its own people into slaves. The Egyptians were servants, right? So naturally, as years go by, there's no more famine. What do you think gonna happen? People just gonna be like, oh, that was a good time. Let's just forget about it? No, people are looking at it like, I don't know. Having servants ain't that darn bad. I mean, I ain't gonna do it no more. I'm a darn Egyptian. But we definitely got some Hebrews up in here. That servitude changes. Right? That's no different from what you see in America.
Right, slavery ended, and it's like, well, I'm not doing the work.
But before that, right? Before that, in Europe, when they was having all these wars, they would whoop somebody out and they would make them what?
Servant.
They would make them servants, right? Then some deals were exchanged. They come to America. They end up finding, you know what I'm saying, black folks in Africa. And these black folks happen to be the scum of the earth. Even the other black folks don't like them. Oh, these the real Hebrews? Well, we want to get rid of them anyway. Okay, we put them over there and we make them slaves. Because we like how this servitude goes. And it's a lot of land to work over here. And it's crazy to think we going to work all this by ourselves. We make them slaves. And then what happens after that? Slavery ends. And what do?
Make them slaves by putting them in prison.
But guess what? That ain't enough. That's not reliable. They starting to get rights. Now what I'm going to do?
Take away, you know what I'm saying? Take away the economy. Make it towards like, you can't get what I got.
Or I'm going to say, hey, Mexicans, come on over the border. I'm going to let them through illegally. You know why? These black folks are starting to get their rights. If you come through illegally, you can't have no rights. So now you got to handle the cheap labor that I don't want to pay the black folks for, that now they got the rights. They tell these lies, like, oh, you know, black folks don't want them jobs.
Yeah, that's definitely not true.
Since when? We've been doing the jobs. Who else was doing these jobs?
I know the homies.
Before the Mexican came, who was doing these jobs?
I know the homies getting out of prison that need a job where they going back. You know what I mean?
Talking about they don't want these
Right,
jobs.
they definitely
y'all
want the
don't want
jobs.
us to have the jobs. Y'all want these Mexicans to get the jobs. So y'all cheat them out. And it's a win-win. 'Cause guess what? When the Mexican when they could jump over that border, I did them a favor. So not only do I get the job, but now you can sneak and vote for me too. All of it is servitude, right? It's the same process, but that's what the Egyptians went through. So it's important to understand, like, how did we become slaves in Egypt in the first place? This is where it starts, right here, right? They started to have servitude because of who?
Joseph.
Because of Joseph, a Hebrew, right? So he put something in place. All this is put in place by God. God setting the whole thing up. He's looking at it like, it'll start here. But I know how people do. They gonna look at it like, oh, it's just a temporary thing. A lot of people gonna be living lavish. Pharaoh gonna be doing it. It's gonna be nice. All the people gonna see Pharaoh. They gonna see Pharaoh. Then when the famine over, guess what? They gonna want a little piece too.
Get my phone.
They gonna want some servants too. And eventually, somebody gonna come along and be like, why are we enslaving our own people again? Oh, we got Hebrews in the land. You'll see when we get to Exodus. Watch this.
And as for the people, he removed them to cities from one end of the borders of Egypt even to the other end thereof.
Ezra, come here.
Where my belt on? And Joseph bought all the land of Egypt for Pharaoh, for the Egyptians sold every man his field, because the famine prevailed over them. So the land became Pharaoh's. And as for the people, he removed them to cities from one end of the borders of Egypt to the other end thereof. Only the land of the priests bought he not, for the priests had a portion assigned them of Pharaoh, and did eat their portion which Pharaoh gave them, wherefore they sold not their lands. Then Joseph said unto the people, behold, I have bought you this day in your land for Pharaoh. Lo, here is seed for you, and you shall sow the land. And it shall come to pass in the increase that you shall give the 5th part unto Pharaoh, and 4 parts shall be your own, for seed of the field and for your food, and for them of your households, and for food for your little ones.
What is this?
Like a tithe, ain't it?
This is a tax. All right, so Pharaoh's taxing the people through his ownership. Keep going, watch this.
And they said, you have saved our lives. Let us find grace in the sight of my Lord, and we will be Pharaoh's servants. And Joseph made it a law over the land of Egypt unto this day, that Pharaoh should have the 5th part, except the land of the priests only, which became not Pharaoh's. And Israel dwelt in the land of Egypt, in the country of Goshen, and they had possession therein, and grew and multiplied exceedingly. And Jacob lived in the land of Egypt 17 years. So the whole age of Jacob was 147 years. And the time drew nigh that Israel must die, and he called his son Joseph, and said unto him, if now I have found grace in thy sight, put, I pray thee, thy hand under my thigh, and deal kindly and truly with me. Bury me not, I pray thee, in Egypt. But I will lie with my fathers, and you shall carry me out of Egypt, and bury me in their burying place.
All right, so you see how he said, listen, you got to promise me now, you're going to take me back where I'm supposed to be. Because he know about the promise. He know where he's supposed to be. Watch this.
And he said, I will do as thou hast said. And he said, swear unto me. And he sware unto him, and Israel bowed himself upon the bed.
And watch this.
And it came to pass after these things that one told Joseph, behold, thy father is sick. And he took with him his 2 sons, Manasseh and Ephraim.
We in 48?
Yeah. And one told Jacob and said, behold, thy son Joseph comes unto thee. And Israel strengthened himself and sat upon the bed.
Right? So now, Israel, he about to die. Right? He know he about to die. Joseph know he about to die. Everybody know he about to die. He's sick. So Joseph like, listen, I got to come get the blessings for my son. Both of my sons. So he brought both of his sons to him. After he did that, Israel started to perk up. He looking like, oh, what's that? What you bring now, boy? You know what I'm saying? Let me see. Let's see.
And one told Jacob, and behold, thy son Joseph comes unto thee, and Israel strengthened himself and sat upon the bed. And Jacob said unto Joseph, God Almighty appeared unto me at Luz in the land of Canaan, and blessed me, and said unto me, behold, I will make thee fruitful and multiply thee, and I will make of thee a multitude of people, and will give this land to thy seed after thee for an everlasting possession. And now thy 2 sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, which were born unto thee in the land.
Oh, look, we missed something. Go back to, what is that, verse, 3?
And Jacob said unto Joseph, God Almighty appeared unto me at Luz.
He said, God Almighty appeared to me where?
At Luz.
What's Luz?
Bethel.
Bethel. Right? So we skipped that. So let's go back to it so we can read it. This should be Genesis 28. Give me Genesis chapter 28, verse 1. Because it's the reason why he mentioned this. Right?
And Isaac called Jacob and blessed him and charged him and said unto him, you shall not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan. Arise and go to Padan Aram, to the house of Bethuel, thy mother's father, and take a wife from there of the daughters of Laban, thy mother's brother. And God Almighty bless thee and make thee fruitful and multiply thee, that thou mayest be a multitude of people. And give thee the blessing of Abraham to thee and to thy seed with thee, that thou may inherit the land wherein thou art a stranger, which God gave unto Abraham.
So now, what did Isaac just do?
He told him, go down and get a wife from your mother's brother.
I know. What else?
And be fruitful and multiply.
Eli.
And he also passed down the blessing.
Hush.
He said, God gonna give you this land.
Right?
Abraham.
So by passing down that blessing, this is why this calls to memory for him. Right? He said, oh man, the Most High God appeared to me in love. Well, after the blessing was passed down and he was told to go get a wife, guess where he goes? Let's see.
And Isaac sent away Jacob, and he went to Padan Aram unto Laban, son of Bethuel the Syrian, the brother of Rebekah, Jacob, and Esau's mother. When Esau saw that Isaac had blessed Jacob and sent him away to Padan Aram to take him a wife from there, and that he blessed him and gave him charge, saying, you shall not take a wife for the daughters of Canaan, that Jacob obeyed his father and his mother and was gone to Padan Aram. And Esau, seeing that the daughters of Canaan pleased not Isaac his father, then went Esau unto Ishmael and took unto the wives which he had Mahaleth, and the daughter of Ishmael, Abraham's son, the sister of Nebuah, to be his wife. And Jacob went out from Beersheba and went toward Haran. And he lighted upon a certain place and tarried there all night, because the sun was set. And he took up stones in that place and put them for his pillows to lay down in that place to sleep. And he dreamed, and behold, a ladder set up on the earth, and the top of it reached to heaven, and behold, the angels of God were ascending and descending on it.
Right? So in his dream, he saw a ladder. Right? And the top of it, he said, went up to the skies. Right? So that thing was real high. Then what else?
And behold, the Lord stood above it and said, I am the Lord God of Abraham thy father, the God of Isaac.
Right? So Yahuwah introduced himself to Jacob in this moment. So blessing just got passed down to him from Isaac. Isaac said, go here, go get a wife. And the reason why you're getting a wife is because your seed gonna get blessed according to the blessing I've been telling you about my whole life, your whole life, right? Jacob, go. And all of a sudden, he take a little rest in a place called Luz. It's going to tell us. He take a little rest in a place called Luz. Lay down on his little rock pillows. And all of a sudden, he had his vision. Right after he hear this from his pops, he have a vision, and there's a ladder going, you know what I'm saying, a ladder, and angels is going up and down on this ladder. And the Most High God himself appeared at the top, and he just said, hey, I'm the Most High God of your father. Right? Watch this. He introduced himself.
I am the Lord God of Abraham thy father.
He says, I am Yahuwah, God of Abraham, your fathers.
And the God of Isaac. The land whereof you lie, to thee will I give it, and unto thy seed. And thy seed shall be as the dust of the earth, and thou shalt spread abroad to the west, and to the east, and to the north and the south. And in thee and in thy seed shall all the families of the earth be blessed. And behold, I am with thee, and will keep thee in the places where you go, and will bring you again unto this land, for I will not leave thee until I have done that which I've spoken of thee.
Right? So this is the birthright blessing. Right? This is the blessing that was given to Abraham, that was said to be through a seed at the time that Abraham did not have any children. Abraham had a son named Ishmael. Most High God, after he had a second son named Isaac, told him to get rid of Ishmael. Right? Then the blessing was passed down to Isaac. Isaac then had it. That makes it a birthright blessing. Right? Isaac then has the blessing, and he has a son. His first son, they were twins. The first one that came out was Esau, right? And then Jacob. But Jacob then gets the birthright from Esau by selling it. He sold it for his food, right? Then to make it sure, he waited to the end where his father was old, and then he tricked his father into giving him a blessing. So not only did he get the birthright blessing, he also got, that was the birthright blessing and the blessing from his father as being the firstborn, right? So he gets the birthright blessing, and now Isaac confirms it onto him. He say, look, this is the blessing. This one's go. Go get you a wife so it can happen. Right? Then he goes. Immediately after that, the Most High God appears to him in a vision. And he gives it to him. And he tells him, look, this is what's going to happen to your seed. Keep going. Watch this. It's all the reason why he's coming up with this right now when he's talking about Joseph's two sons. Right? Joseph brings his sons to him. And there's a reason why he's remembering these events. Why he's saying the Most High God who appeared to me. Remember, the Most High God just appeared to him in Beersheba before this event, right? Not before this, but before Joseph, before he went back to Egypt, he appeared to him in Beersheba. Why he didn't mention that? He said the Most High God who appeared to him in Luz. This was special, and there's a reason why he's remembering this before what we're about to read. Watch this.
And Jacob awoke out of his sleep, and he said, surely Yahuwah is in this place, and I knew it not. And he was afraid and said, how dreadful is this place? This is none other but the house of God, and this is the gate of heaven. And Jacob rose up early in the morning.
He said, this is none other but what?
The house of God. And this is the gate of heaven. And
He called the place Bethel. That's what Bethel means, house of God, right? Watch this.
And Jacob rose up early in the morning and took the stone that he put for his pillows and set it up for a pillar and poured oil upon the top of it. And he called the name of that place Bethel. But the name of that city was called Luz at the first. And Jacob vowed a vow, saying, if God will be with me and will
look at the vow. Watch this. If God will be with me, watch this.
And will keep me in this way that I go, and will give me bread to eat and raiment
and
to put
will give
on.
me what?
Bread to eat and raiment to put on. So that I come again to my father's house in peace, then shall Yahuwah be my God. And this.
So hold on, stop right there. His conditions: as long as the Most High God give me bread to eat, and He give me clothes. Under those two conditions, you will be my God. That's the vow that he made to God.
Who was that said, be content with bread and clothes?
Paul. Right? That's the condition that he gave the Most High God. So now we think through his life. Right? A lot of stuff happened to him. He always had those two things. Even when it came down to Egypt, he had fear of losing what?
His sons.
No, he had fear of losing food. It was a famine.
Well, of course.
Right? So then, the Most High God set his son up. There's a lot of people that didn't have food in that time because of the famine in Egypt. He set his son up to be over Egypt. And then when he came there, what did Joseph say to him?
I got food.
He said, I'm going to nourish you. You have to think about it from Jacob's point of view. From Jacob's point of view, this is, the Most High God keeping this vow. This is the vow I made. I thought I was about to go hungry. And guess what? He did it. And guess what he did for my boys? We didn't catch this, but guess what he did for the boys? What did Joseph say to the boys when he sent them back to go get Jacob? What did he give them?
He gave them provisions for the way.
And what else?
And more animals, cattle, clothes, changes of clothes.
Changes of clothes. And Benjamin, he gave 5 changes. Right? When Jacob sees that, oh, that's special. Because my vow is make sure I'm fed, and make sure I got clothes. You do that, you'll be my God. And this place is named Bethel. Right? So now fast forward. Let's go back to 48. This is Genesis chapter 48. What verse? Verse 3, verse 4?
3.
This is Genesis chapter 48, verse 3. Watch this. When he says this about Luz, what we just read is what he's referring to. Right? He called that place the house of God.
And Jacob said unto Joseph, God Almighty appeared unto me in Luz, in the land of Canaan, and blessed me.
Mm-hmm. What blessing did he bless him with? It's the birthright blessing, right? We just read it. It's the birthright blessing that Yahushua is going to come through. So that's what's on his mind right now. He blessed me. Watch this.
And said unto me, behold, I will make thee fruitful and multiply thee, and will make thee of a multitude of people, and will give this land to thy seed after thee for an everlasting possession.
Look there.
And now thy two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, which were born unto thee in the land of Egypt before.
Listen. Watch this.
Before I came unto thee into Egypt are mine. As Reuben and Simeon, they shall be mine.
So hold on. Do you understand what he's saying?
Yeah, your sons are no longer yours, but they're mine. I'm adopting them just like Reuben and Simeon.
I was in Luz, and he gave me the birth. He confirmed. My pops told me this is the birthright blessing, right? Then I'm going on my way. I take a little rest. The Most High God appeared to me and confirms that birthright. He is like, that same God that blessed me, let me tell you something. Give me your boys. He said, just like who?
Reuben and Simeon.
Reuben was who?
Firstborn.
Simeon was who?
Second.
He's saying, I'm going to treat your kids like my first and second born. What is he trying to do?
Set up the birthright.
He's trying to pass down the birthright through his favorite son. Not his first son, through his favorite son.
No, that would have been uncool had Simeon and Reuben not did what they did. But they did what they did.
We're going to talk about that too, right? So he tried to replace them. He said, you know what? Your children are mine now. So I'm adopting your kids. That's how we look at it today. I'm adopting your kids, and they will be to me like my firstborn and secondborn son. Right? Keep going. Watch this.
And now thy two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, which were born unto thee in the land of Egypt, before I came unto thee into Egypt, are mine. As Reuben and Simeon, they shall be mine. And thy issue which thou beget after them shall be yours, and shall be called after the name of their brethren and their inheritance.
Right? He said, look, you can have all the rest of your kids. I'm just talking about these two, the boy mine. Right? Watch this.
And as for me,
And he said, the rest of the kids that you have, they're going to be called after the names of your brothers. I mean, after the names of their brothers. So in other words, they're going to fit. He know that they're going to become tribes. He's saying, listen, they're going to have to fit into one of their tribes. They don't get to make their own tribe. He's making it very clear. Don't think that every kid you get going to get their own tribe. That's not how this play out. They're going to have to fit somewhere in either Manasseh or Ephraim. This the tribe that they're going to fit in. Right? Keep going. I love this thing, man.
and as for me, when I came from Padan, Rachel died by me in the land of Canaan in the way, when yet there was but a little way to come unto Ephrath. And I buried her there in the way of Ephrath.
Which is what?
The same is Bethlehem.
That's right.
And Israel beheld Joseph's sons, and said, Who are these? And Joseph said unto his father, They are my sons whom God has given me in this place. And he said, Bring them, I pray thee, unto me, and I will bless them.
Listen, from Joseph's point of view, he has to love what he's hearing right now. Right? Remember, all these boys would know about the blessing because that's all Pops would be talking about. Pops would be teaching them about God, teaching them about what God did for them. Oh, well, yeah, my grandfather Abraham, this is what he told him. And then my daddy Isaac, this is what he told him. And let me tell you, when I was in Luz, he told me the same thing. And we just passing this thing down. And I tell you what, boys, one day, I'm going to pass this thing down to one of y'all. Right? Like, that got to be the stories that's going on. So Joseph already know, like, man, I remember hearing about this when I was a kid. And I hear this man telling me, I'm going to take my kids just like they his kids, and he going to make them the first and second born. He looking at that like, oh, yeah. So he asked him, like, oh, who are these? He's like, these my boys. He pushing them out to him. These my boys now. Go ahead and give them that blessing. This thing about to be nice. It's about to be all right. Because that's all you want for your kids. Like, we not just talking about, we know the man of God has power. You know what I'm saying? Like, what we looking at here is different. It ain't just like, oh, yeah, let me, you know what I'm saying, take my kids and meet my grandpa. You know, no. I know that there's power. I know things happen. I've seen it. Right? So it's like, oh, yeah, you pass this down to my boys, it's going to be all right. They going to be the next you. They got to look at their dad like, man, you the most amazing guy ever. Right? They're going to be just like you. That's how they looking at it. So he looking like, no, man, you know what I'm saying? Pushing his boys out there, watch what happens.
And he said, bring them, I pray thee, unto me, and I will bless them. Now the eyes of Israel were dim for age, so that he could not see.
Right? He couldn't really see all that good. Watch this.
And he brought them near unto him, and he kissed him and embraced him. And Israel said unto Joseph, I had not thought to see thy face, and lo, God has showed me also thy seed. And Joseph brought them out from between his knees, and he bowed himself with his face to the earth. And Joseph took them both, Ephraim in his right hand toward Israel's left hand, and Manasseh in his left hand towards Israel's right hand.
So that means he went like this, right? So you got two boys, and then instead of just reaching out to them like this to grab their head and to grab the boys, he reached out like this, you know what I'm saying, crossed his arms. Watch this.
And Israel stretched out his right hand and laid it upon Ephraim's head, who was the younger, and his left hand upon Manasseh's head, guiding his hands wittingly.
Right.
Manasseh was the firstborn.
Right? The book say he did it wittingly. So now what he's saying is he took the right hand, right? The right hand would be, you know what I'm saying, the power hand, right? So, you know what I'm saying, I would usually bless the older boy with the right hand. But he switched it and put the right hand on the younger and the left hand on the older. So Ephraim, the younger, has the right hand. Manasseh, the older, has the left hand. Watch what happens. But he can't see. Book say he did it wittingly. In other words, I know what I'm doing, right? I'm intentionally doing this. That's what the book said. But he can't see. So what you think Joseph thinking?
What's going on?
Right, watch this.
And he blessed Joseph and said, God before whom my fathers Abraham and Isaac did walk, the God which fed me all my life long unto this day, the angel which redeemed me from all evil, bless the lads. And let my name be named on them in the name of my fathers Abraham and Isaac, and let them grow into a multitude in the midst of the earth. And when Joseph saw that his father laid his right hand upon the head of Ephraim, it displeased him. And he held up his father's hand to remove it from Ephraim's head unto Manasseh's head. And Joseph said unto his father, not so, my father, for this is the firstborn. Put thy right hand upon his head.
All right, so he telling him, no, you're supposed to put the right hand on the older son. You know what I'm saying? What you mean? He said, not so. He trying to make it, because you know he probably got his little, like, man, that's my boy. You know what I'm saying? He probably already told him, like, listen, you my first boy. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I'm going to give you everything I got. Like, he probably already had this conversation with him. So he's looking like, whoa, this ain't going right. And then you blind, Dad. You probably think, you know what I'm saying? You probably thought that you was putting it, no, that's not, let me help you out. No, he's not the firstborn. I know you thought that you were reaching for the firstborn. That wasn't the firstborn over there. Here, let me help your hands. So he tried to fix his hands. Let's see.
And his father refused and said, I know it, my son, I know it.
Right? He looks like, no, I know, relax. I got this.
He shall become a people, and he also shall be great. But truly his younger brother shall be greater than he. And his seed shall become a multitude of nations. And he blessed them that day, saying, and these shall Israel bless, saying, God make thee as Ephraim, and as Manasseh. And he set Ephraim before Manasseh. And Israel said unto Joseph, behold, I die, but God shall be with you, and bring you again unto the land of your fathers. Moreover, I have given to thee one portion above thy brethren, which I took out of the hand of the Amorite with my sword and with my bow. And Jacob called unto his sons and said, gather yourselves together.
So you see what he said there. I took out of the hand of the Amorite with my what?
My sword and my bow.
So he's telling you, I've been fighting with these people. Right? So that book I was telling you about, it talks about that and give context in it. The fights were because of what his sons did. You know what I'm saying? But he won. He was like, listen, you know what I'm saying? I took this from him, you know what I'm saying? So I'm giving you one portion above. I ain't gonna give it to them other boy because they got me into this mess. Right? Keep going, watch this.
And Jacob called unto his sons and said, gather yourselves together that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days. Gather yourselves together and hear, ye sons of Jacob, and hearken unto Israel your father. Reuben, you are my firstborn, my might, and the beginning of my strength, the excellency of dignity, and the excellency of power. Unstable as water.
Look at him. So now he goes out, he's like, listen, you is my firstborn, you my darn boy, but let me tell you something. You unstable as darn water.
I always love this chapter.
That means you all over the place.
Unstable as water, you shall not excel, because you went up into thy father's bed and defiled thou it.
Right? He telling him, you have no discipline. You went up to you slept with my woman. Right? That's what Reuben did. He ended up getting with Bilhah. And Bilhah was the concubine. She was the servant of Leah. He had babies by Bilhah. He had babies by Leah. So Reuben slept with his mom's servant, who was the mother of his brothers. Right? He didn't like that. Pops ain't like that. Pop looking like, yeah, you thought I forgot. I ain't forget that. Your butt unstable as water. You all over the darn place. You ain't got no darn discipline. Can't hold yourself back. Just gotta have everything. All over the place. You want that, you want this, you want that. You can't tell yourself darn no. You all over the place. Let's see, keep going.
Simeon and Levi are brothers.
Uh-huh.
Instruments of cruelty are in their habitations.
Uh-huh.
O my soul, come not thou into their secret, unto their assembly, my honor. Be not thou united. For in their anger they slew a man, and in their self-will they dig down a wall.
He said in their anger they killed a man. Let's grab that real quick. This is Genesis chapter 34, so we can see what he's talking about. This is the event that got him into all this mess. That's why he was fighting with the Amorites. Remember, the Canaanites was cool with Abraham. The Canaanites was cool with Isaac. Jacob come along, have all these darn boys, and he got some bad darn son. And all that cool stuff is over. Now it's war. All right? This is Genesis chapter 34. Give me verse 1.
And Dinah, the daughter of Leah, which she bare unto Jacob, went out to see the daughters of the land.
All right, so this is Jacob's daughter. It's the only daughter that the Bible tells us about, but it did tell us that he had multiple daughters. Keep going, watch this.
And when Shechem, the son of Hamor, the Hivite, prince of the country, saw her, he took her and lay with her and defiled her. Mm-hmm. And his soul.
So a lot of people look at that and they think it's rape. That's not what happened. He didn't rape her. He defiled her because he slept with her, and he was a Gentile, and they wasn't married, but he was a Gentile, right? So the whole thing of our family so far, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the message has been what?
Get a wife from your family.
You get somebody from your family, right? You go find one of your cousins or somebody, and you marry them. Do not marry the people of this land. Do not marry the Canaanites. So now, they sister go, she fall in love or fall in like or whatever she do with this man from Shechem. And look what he do after that. This is how you know it wasn't rape.
And his soul clave unto Dinah, the daughter of Jacob. And he loved the damsel and spake kindly unto the damsel.
So that's how you know it wasn't rape. A lot of people think it was rape, but no, it wasn't rape. He's speaking kindly onto her, all this. He just wants her hand in marriage.
Yeah, he was trying to marry her.
Yeah, watch this.
And Shechem spake unto his father Hamor, saying, Get me this damsel to wife. And Jacob heard that he had defiled Dinah, his daughter. Now his sons were with his cattle in the field, and Jacob held his peace until they were come. And Hamor, the father of Shechem, went out unto Jacob to commune with him. And the sons of Jacob came out of the field when they heard it. And the men were grieved.
So Jacob said he held his peace, right? Why do you think he held his peace?
I got no dealings with y'all.
His daughter, right, got defiled by a Gentile. Why do you think Jacob held his peace? Huh? No, because the sons ain't even in the picture yet. Why do you think he might have held his peace? Who land is he in?
He in the Canaanite land.
That boy's outnumbered. All he got is his boys, some of the servants, you know what I'm saying? He got some people with him, but he's outnumbered. He's against a whole land of allies, and he ain't allies with none of them. He just kind of know them. And he's in their land. So although his daughter got defiled, he ate that. He just in there like, man, ain't the time. We gonna mess around and get whooped out here. All of us going, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get to this promise the Most High God was telling me about. So he left it alone and held his peace. Well, young boys who got them hands, how you think they gonna feel about it?
You touch my sister?
Let's see.
And the sons of Jacob came out of the field when they heard it. And the men were grieved, and they were very wroth, because he had wrought folly in Israel, in lying with Jacob's daughter, which thing ought not to be done. And Hamor communed with them, saying, The soul of my son Shechem longs for your daughter. I pray you, give her to him to wife. And make ye marriages with us, and give your daughters unto us, and take our daughters unto you. And you shall dwell with us, and the land shall be before you. Dwell and trade you therein, and get you possessions therein.
So he's saying, listen, let's just start giving each other our family. We're going to become one big family. you have all our land. We'll share everything with you. It'll be nice. Everything will be okay, right? He trying to advocate for his son. Like, look, my son, he really wants your daughter. But I tell you what, we make it bigger than that. We can all just be a whole family, and you can have this land. Share this land with us, right? So he trying to make a big deal. Jacob trying to hold his peace. Like, man, I ain't trying to make a big deal with nobody. I ain't trying to do. I'm just trying to get on and keep moving, because eventually this whole place is about to be mine anyway. Right? So Jacob is not interested in this offer, but I'm also not interested in starting to fight with you. Right? Let's see how the sons feel.
And Shechem said unto her father and unto her brethren, let me find grace in your eyes, and what you say unto me, I will give.
Right? So he's saying, listen, if you let me have your daughter, your sister, I will give whatever you tell me. I'll go get it. You want cattle? You want money? Like, whatever I got to do, I'll make it happen. So now watch what happens.
Ask me never so much dowry and gift, and I will give according as you shall say unto me, but give me the damsel to wife. And the sons of Jacob answered Shechem and Hamor his father deceitfully, and said, because he had defiled Dinah their sister. And they said unto them, we cannot do this thing to give our sister to one that is uncircumcised, for that were a reproach unto us. But in this will we consent unto you. If you will be as we be, that every male of you be circumcised, then we will give our daughters unto you, and we will take your daughters unto us, and we will dwell with you, and we will become one people.
What's the problem with what he's doing right now? What they're doing right now?
Well, he's lying about it. And,
he's lying about the truth.
Yeah.
Right? He's telling them, hey, all y'all be circumcised, which, according to the covenant, would make them what?
Israel.
It would make them one of them. They would be under the covenant that was given to Abraham. Right? So that part is true. Then perhaps they could marry if they became servants. Right? But that wasn't their real intentions. Watch this.
But if you will not hearken unto us to be circumcised, then we will take our daughter, and we will be gone. And their words pleased Hamor and Shechem, Hamor's son.
Right? Hamor and Shechem, they're looking at that like, oh, that's it? Circumcision, I don't know what that is. Oh, we got to cut our thing. All right, well, you know what I'm saying? Let's do it then.
That's real sleek, look.
You know what I'm saying? We all will be just like y'all. And we can all get along after that. Trade daughters and all that. Oh, okay, we good. Right? Let's see.
And the young men deferred not to do the thing.
They didn't wait, in other words. They didn't make no excuse. They're looking like, well, let's do it today. What we waiting on? You know what I'm talking about? They were that excited and down with the plan. Let's see, keep going.
Because he had delight in Jacob's daughter, and he was more honorable than all the house of his father.
So look, the book said he is more honorable. He didn't rape that girl.
Right.
Right? He was
It was a good dude, just trying to make a good
you know what I'm saying? The book, it's just the nature of the book. The way you look at it is you deal with the men of the family. You know what I'm saying? But if a woman is sitting there like, nah, that's not what I want, it ain't even a conversation. You know what I'm saying? That thing's not even a conversation. Keep going.
And Hamor and Shechem, his son, came unto the gate of their city and communed with the men of their city, saying, these men are peaceable with us. Therefore, let them dwell in the land and trade therein. For the land, behold, it is large enough for them. Let us take their daughters to us for wives, and let us give them our daughters. Only herein will the men consent unto us to dwell with us, to be one people. If every male among us is circumcised, as they are circumcised.
Right, so he told all his people to go along with it.
Shall not their cattle and their substance and every beast of theirs be ours?
Right, so remember, we always had a whole bunch of cattle. Jacob always had a whole bunch of cattle because Isaac had a whole bunch of cattle, because Abraham had a whole bunch of cattle, and all that gets passed down, and Jacob himself got even more cattle, right? He got what Isaac passed down to him, but before that, he even got more cattle from Laban, you remember? Mm-hmm. So Jacob has a whole bunch of cattle. And so they're looking at it like, y'all do realize that all that cattle becomes ours if we do this. We're marrying into their family. Like, all this becomes ours. They're looking like, this is a good deal. He telling the people, they don't even realize it's a good deal. All I want is, I was going to pay some money for it. But we get to get his daughter and we get to come up. Right? Keep going, watch this.
Only let us consent unto them, and they will dwell with us. And unto Hamor and unto Shechem his son hearken all that went out of the gate of this city. Mm-hmm. And every male was circumcised, all that went out of the gate of his city. And it came to pass on the third day, when they were sore, that two of the sons of Jacob, Simeon and Levi, Dinah's brethren, took each man his sword and came upon the city.
So who did it?
Simeon and Levi.
So Simeon and Levi, on the third day when they were sore, took each man his sword and did what?
And came upon the city boldly and slew all the males.
They killed all of them.
And they slew Hamor and Shechem, his son, with the edge of the sword, and took Dinah out of Shechem's house, and went out. And the sons of Jacob came upon the slain and spoiled the city, because they had defiled their sister.
In other words, they took all the goods from their city. They took their animals, they took their gold, they took all everything valuable, they took it. Right? Keep going.
And they took their sheep and their oxen and their donkeys and that which was in the city and that which was in the field. And all their wealth and all their little ones and their wives took they captive and spoiled even all that was in the house. And Jacob said unto Simeon and Levi, you have troubled me to make me to stink among the inhabitants of the land, amongst the Canaanites and the Perizzites. And I, being few in number, they shall gather themselves together against me and slay me, and I shall be destroyed, I and my house.
So now Jacob is looking like, this is why I was trying not to make a big stink out of this. Because now I stink to these people. And I'm small in number in comparison to them. And they about to chase me around. So this is why he started warring with them. Right? Keep going.
And they said, shall he deal with our sister as with a harlot?
Right? The brothers, when they looking at it, like, what we supposed to do? You thought he was just going to sleep with her? He wasn't even going to marry her? Hey, you know what I'm saying? That thing was never going to happen. What were we supposed to do? Right? That's how they deal with it. So now let's go back. Jacob ain't never forget that. Right? This is Genesis chapter 49. What verse?
6.
This is Genesis chapter 49, verse 6.
O my soul, come not thou into their secret, unto their assembly. My honor be not united. For in their anger they slew a man, and in their self-will they dig down a wall. Cursed be their anger, for it was fierce, and their wrath, for it was cruel. I will divide them in Jacob and scatter them in Israel. Judah.
Notice that's what he said. I will divide them in Jacob and scatter them in Israel. It's important that we remember that, because the Most High God is going to honor that. He's going to honor that curse that he put on them. Right? That's Simeon and Levi. As we get through the law and we start to talk about numbers and Deuteronomy and especially in Joshua, we're going to start to see that is it Numbers?
No, Joshua is when they divide.
It's going to be Exodus. It's not Numbers. In Exodus, you're going to start to see where things are set up. And then in Joshua, that's where you're going to see it finalized, where they were separated. Joshua and throughout, really. So let's keep going.
Judah, you are he whom thy brother shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, you are gone up. He stooped down, he couched as a lion, and as an old lion. Who shall rouse him up? The scepter shall not depart from Judah. The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come. And unto him shall the gathering of the people be.
Right? Everybody got to gather to Judah. That's talking about Yahushua.
Until Shiloh comes.
Now, the thing is, if you look at the first 4 that we looked at, firstborn was Reuben. Did he get a curse or a blessing?
He didn't get anything.
He got a
I
curse.
don't like a curse.
Right? He told him you was unstable in all your ways. He said you will not what?
You
will not what?
will not excel.
You will not excel. That's a curse. Right? Then you get Simeon and Levi, second and third born. Did they get a curse or a blessing?
They got a curse.
They got cursed. The first one to get a blessing was who?
Judah.
Now, Jacob wanted the firstborn blessing to go to Ephraim. But in actuality, it ends up going to Judah. Just because it goes down the line. Right? Keep going. Watch this.
Binding his foal unto the vine, and his donkey's coat unto the choice vine, he washed his garments in wine, and his clothes in the blood of grapes.
Right? All this is talking about Yahushua. Right? When he came in to Jerusalem, he is riding the colt and a donkey. Right? In Revelations, his garments were dyed in blood. Right? This is all talking about Yahushua. Keep going.
His eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk. Zebulun shall dwell at the haven of the sea, and he shall be for a haven of ships. and his border shall be unto Zidon. Issachar is a strong donkey crouching down between two burdens. And he saw that the rest was good, and the land that it was pleasant, and bowed his shoulder to bear, and came a servant unto tribute. Dan shall judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel. Dan shall be a serpent by the way, an adder in the path, that bites the horse's heels, so that his rider shall fall backward. I have waited for thy salvation, O Lord. Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. Out of Asher his bread shall be fat, and he shall yield royal dainties. Naphtali is a hind let loose. He gives goodly words. Joseph is a fruitful bow.
He said Joseph is a fruitful bow. Now look, you saw everybody else's blessings, right? You had Judah, they had like a kind of long one. And then you had everybody else that was like one-liners. You know what I'm saying? Like, Dan, he gonna judge the people. You know what I'm saying? Issachar, you know what I'm saying? He gonna be all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, he just, he just getting through the other ones. Watch what he lay on his boy Joseph, though. He loved his boy. Watch this.
Joseph is a fruitful bow, even a fruitful bow by the well, whose branches run over the wall. The archers have sorely grieved him and shot at him and hated him.
Right? That boy had a rough life. That's what he trying to say. He had a rough life. My boy had a rough life. What about it?
But his bow abode in strength.
Oh, but he overcame. Right, watch this.
And the arms of his hands were made strong by the hands of the mighty God of Jacob.
Mm-hmm.
From there is the shepherd, the stone of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Even by the God of thy father who shall help thee, and by the Almighty who shall bless thee with blessings of heaven above, blessings of the deep that lies under, blessing of the breast and of the womb. The blessings of thy father have prevailed above the blessings of my progenitors.
Mm-hmm.
Unto the utmost bound of the everlasting hills, they shall be on the head of Joseph, and on the crown of the head of him that was separate from his brothers. Benjamin shall ravine as a wolf. In the morning he shall devour the prey, and at night he shall divide the spoil.
Mm-hmm. So that's it. You see how everybody else was kind of short? Joseph was super long, right? But he gave blessings to all of his sons. Well, he gave words for all of his sons, most of them blessings, right? Keep going. Let's jump into 50 and we'll finish this off. That's Genesis chapter 50, verse 1.
And Joseph fell upon his father's face and wept upon him and kissed him. And Joseph commanded his servants, the physicians, to embalm his father, and the physicians embalmed Israel.
So Jacob died, and then Joseph commanded that the Egyptians embalm him. Keep going.
And 40 days were fulfilled for him, for so all fulfilled the days of those which are embalmed. Mm-hmm. And the Egyptians mourned for him 70 days. And when the days of his mourning were past, Joseph spake unto the house of Pharaoh, saying, If now I found grace in your eyes, speak, I pray you, in the ears of Pharaoh, saying, My father made me swear, saying, Lo, I die. In my grave which I have digged for me in the land of Canaan, there shall you bury me. Mm-hmm. Now therefore let me go up, I pray thee, and bury my father, and I will come again. And Pharaoh said, Go up, and bury thy father, according as he has made thee swear. Mm-hmm. And Joseph went up to bury his father, and with him went up all the servants of Pharaoh, the elders of his house, and all the elders of the land of Egypt. Mm-hmm. And all the house of Joseph and his brother and his father's house, only their little ones and their flocks and their herds they left in the land of Goshen. And there went up with him both chariots and horsemen, and it was a very great company. And they came to the threshing floor of Atad, which is beyond Jordan. There they mourned with a great, very sore lamentation, and he made a mourning for his father 7 days. Mm-hmm. And when the inhabitants of the land of Canaan saw that the mourning in the floor of Atad, they said, This is a grievous mourning to the Egyptians. Wherefore the name of that place is called Abel Mizraim, which is beyond Jordan.
Right? So when they heard him mourning, they thought it was the Egyptians mourning. Really, it was Hebrews. Right? Watch this.
And his sons did unto him according to as he commanded them. For his sons carried him into the land of Canaan and buried him in the cave of the field of Machpelah, which Abraham bought with the field for a possession of a burying place of Ephron the Hittite before Mamre. Mm-hmm. And Joseph returned into Egypt, he and his brethren and all that went up with him to bury his father after he had buried his father. And when Joseph's brethren saw that their father was dead, they said unto Joseph, Joseph will peradventure hate us, and will certainly require us all the evil which we did unto him. And they sent a messenger unto Joseph, saying, Thy father did command before he died, saying, So shall ye say unto Joseph, Forgive, I pray thee now, the trespass of your brothers and their sin, for they did unto thee evil, And now we pray thee, forgive the trespass of the servants of the God of thy father. And Joseph wept when they had spake unto him.
Right? So why do you think they did that?
Because the father was there, was like, man, Joseph gonna get us for sure, man.
They looking like, look, once Pop's gone, Joseph gonna try to repay us for everything that we did to him. Right? They felt like the only thing keeping Joseph from doing that was Pops. Why would they think that?
Because you know what I'm saying? They probably think like Joseph don't want Pops to see us, to see him do that to us and then bring him to an early grave.
Exactly. Right? Because the first thing that when he revealed himself, what's the first thing he told him to do?
Go bring my father.
Go get Pops. So they looking at it like, oh, that's the only reason we alive. That's the only reason the man don't kill him. He was messing with him, right? You got to look at it from their point of view. From their point of view, we popped up. This man, he tricking us. He sliding stuff in the bag, making it look like we stealing. He called us spies. Obviously, he trying to get us killed. So this is when they thought this is just, a ruler of Egypt. Then they find out it was our brother that did that. But the first thing he said, it wasn't until I start telling you about our dad that you start crying. And then the first thing you tell me is to go get our dad. But before all that, you were treating us like crap. If Pops is gone, this man is going to kill us. So they looking at it like, yo, Pops said, you know what I'm saying, just you should forgive us. But you know what I'm saying, for some of the stuff that we did. You know what I'm saying? I'm just telling you what Pops said.
Daddy ain't say that.
You know what I'm saying? He probably did, though. You know what I'm saying? But who knows? You know what I'm saying? That's what they said, though. That's what Pop said.
Pop said you need to, let bygones be bygones.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Pop said you just move on past this stuff. And we down for that if you are. You know what I'm saying? And then that made Joseph cry. Because Joseph looking like, oh, man,
what y'all thinking about that?
That's what y'all, my pop just died. That's what y'all thinking about? Right? Let's see. Yeah, I love this line right here. This
Joseph
line.
wept when they spake unto him. And his brethren also wept and fell down before his face, and they said, behold, we be thy servants. And Joseph said unto them, fear not, for am I in the place of God? But as for you, you thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good.
He said, for you, you thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good. That has to be our mindset, right? Keep going.
To bring to pass as it is this day, to save much people alive. Now therefore fear ye not, I will nourish you and your little ones. And he comforted them and spake kindly unto them. And Joseph dwelt in Egypt, he and his father's house. And Joseph lived 110 years. And Joseph saw Ephraim's children of the third generation. The children also of Machir, the son of Manasseh, were brought up unto Joseph's knees. And Joseph said unto his brethren, I die, and God will surely visit you and bring you out of this land unto a land which he sware to Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. And Joseph took an oath unto the children of Israel, saying, God will surely visit you, and you shall carry up my bones from here. And Joseph died, being 110 years old, and they embalmed him, and he was put in a coffin in Egypt.
Right? He said, you gonna take my bones and you gonna bring them with you. Don't leave my stuff in Egypt. Right? Because they understand this is a promise that we dealing with.
Right.
Our promise wasn't Egypt. I know we running the show. When Joseph died, they running the show in Egypt. This is their stuff, right? It's like, look, I know this look good, but this is not exactly what the Most High God promised. They never lost sight of that, right? And that's the same focus that we got to have. That's the end of the chapter, all right? So that's the end. Next week, we're going to get into Exodus, and we're going to see how things shift, right? How it goes from being on top as Hebrews to being at the bottom as Hebrews. And we're going to talk through how that might happen. Then we're going to talk through, Moses and how Moses got on the scene, and then how we end up getting getting through. We'll probably get through all the plagues. Next time we meet.